fashion changes very fast these days.
Very.
What would you advise other designers who want to become famous and successful like you?
Never be stuck with an idea. Never be stuck with an idea. See, too many people try and dwell on what they have done, their past, and it blocks them. Whatever I do, I leave that behind as part of my history and look forward to the future. I embrace everything. Young people have to look at old people. Older people have to look at young people. It's symbiotic. You draw your experiences from either side. As a senior designer, I look at the young people, what they are doing. It tells me what they want, and then I design to fit that. As a younger person too, you look at the older people, the traditions and all that, and that is the source of history and the rich context of your culture that you can draw and talk to them. You know, ask, why, mommy, why do you wear these garments this way? And how did it evolve? Where did it come from? You know, which society, in what context do you wear this? So it gives you a broader perspective. You look at nature, you look at the rivers, the trees, how they interact, go into the garden, even your colorways, look at flowers. I look at birds, you know, the color formation on the wing, because when you look at Thai fabrics, it almost look like the colors in the birds, you know, wings, you know, there. And this is natural. And if you keep to nature and don't get too scientific and highfalutin, the process can be scientific, but the inspiration has to come from nature or your traditions, and you perpetually evolve in your creativity.
How difficult is it for you to break into the international market?
At times, it's being in the right place at the right time. But I believe that if you believe in what you're doing and you have an open mind, it takes hard work and being different. But you have to be sensible about it. You actually have to know what people want. You know, we have to do research. If I want to sell, if a Thai designer want to sell to England, okay, you have very warm weather here. They have seasons. They have very cold winter. Right now it's like -2 degrees in London. And if you decide to go and sell very light colored dresses at that time of the year, it doesn't work. So many elements there. It's a social psychological approach to marketing. One, find what the people want, and then you adapt your ideas to see that market, and then you sell like mad. You know, you really need to market yourself. If you have opportunities to go and do fashion shows abroad, they are invited. It is always good. Take part in competitions, you know, evolve yourself. It tests how good you are. And I took part in several competitions when I was at college. You win some, you lose some. When you lose, you learn from it. Why did that person win? And all that. I always say, when you go in to do a fashion exhibition, like go to Paris, I go to Milan, you wanted to create maybe 20 clothes. You did 15, and then you left with 5. They say, okay, take that fabric, that design, and then cut it. You go to the show, and then the buyers come, and it's the last 5 that you did that they want. So you're thinking, hang on, what is wrong here? So at times it tells us something that simplicity sells. Simplicity, you know, it has to work with people's way of life. Something that you want to put it on quickly, you look good, you feel comfortable in there, and it works for your purpose. These are some of the traits which make people successful and they're able to break into the international market, as opposed to being the pure artist and you design things which only suits your fantasy and all that may be good, but keep it simple.
But that's what I see on fashion shows sometimes. They're just some funny, weird clothes that people wouldn't be able to wear on the streets.
But there's a reason for that. That is to show your fashion shows which are not commercial, is to show your artistry. So what the designer is saying is, if I can do this, then I can do that. So you have to come down from that highfalutin state, that table, and come to give people what they were. So as I say, keep it simple. You can create the complex, not complicated. Complicated is confusing. Complex, okay, but then come down to the simple. Because if you don't make money as a designer, you cannot sustain yourself to create your next crazy collection.
Crazy collection.
Yeah.
Fashion capitals tend to focus in Europe. Would it be possible in the near future for other countries, say in Asia, to become fashion capitals for designers in this region to be able to compete worldwide as well?
It is a willingness between the private public sector. Because the government has to have the desire, the plan that, okay, we want to make this the fashion capital. Hong Kong can become the fashion capital of Southeast Asia. It takes certain elements. You supporting the arts, promoting the fabrics, you know, the press. You all have parts to play there. One, you encourage the designers right from a young age, you know, the creativity in the schools and all that. Let them understand the fabric. Let them play with us. They will make mistakes. They will start by making, you know, funny collections and all that. But it evolved, because I was in London years ago when the Belgians came in with their very, very funny designs and all that. The Olympia, we used to stand there and go, that's funny. But they kept trying. Eventually, there was the Belgian brand of design. The Spanish too came in the same way. Jesus Del Pozo and all of them, they're creating really crazy things. You know, but at times the creating is to attract attention. But underneath it has to be a very, very organized. Artists are creative people. At times, you don't have the time to create and organize at the same time. So you need the two sides. You need the managers, and then the structural operators, and then they form like a security around the artists to hold the artists up, because the process of creation is very difficult. It takes so much energy. Now you go and talk to the banks about the money, about the production and all that, it doesn't work. So when the infrastructure is set up and the government has the political willingness to make it work, it can happen. After all, we have one of the best tourist industries in the world. I mean, people come to Thailand for their holiday to the beaches. Now you got it right. It's a formula. It's a process. Entertainment, how to make the people happy when they are in there, selling the sun, the massage, you know, the saunas, and the scuba diving and all that. It's the same thing. Fashion too is a process. If they really want it, anything is possible.
How should we nurture creativity in people? How should we encourage that?
Create the foundations for it. As I said earlier on, let the children experiment in it, because creativity is from nature. It shouldn't all be high-tech. You know, it's nice. You can use computers and all that, but let children get back in touch with nature. You see, everything is evolutionary. Even fashion goes on in cycles. We call it the 7-year cycles. You know, what came and went, you know. Now, this year, they say the trouser length, the waistline is up again, but before it dropped there, the low riders and all that. But then that is fashion, so is life too, and processes. You get the children, get them interested. You know, I don't like sitting behind the computer. I don't like my children sit behind the computer and go into the garden. Look, some children even don't know what a butterfly looks like. You know, but design is in nature, creativity is in nature. Nature is so creative. You go into the forest and see the different type of plants and then the animals and all that. That is true creativity. When we get in touch with that, it makes us creative. But if you're sitting behind the computer and then digitals all the time, everything you see there is artificial. It is just a small percentage of an idea somebody took from somewhere and brought it there. So it makes you almost like a machine yourself. You become automated. But we have to free the mind, get people into the nature, organic and ethically. You create great designers.
Thank you very much for your time
It's
today.
my pleasure.